A new international study shows that even if global warming were to stop completely, the volume of ice in the European Alps would fall by at least a third by 2050.
지구 온난화가 당장 멈추더라도 2050년까지 알프스 빙하의 최소 3분의 1 이상이 사라진다는 새로운 국제 연구 결과가 나왔습니다. So is there nothing we can do about it?
Well, pretty much, unfortunately. What they did is it's universities in Lausanne, in Grenoble, in Zurich working together in France and in Switzerland. Using machine learning algorithms and climate data, they were able to predict what would happen if warming had stopped in 2022.
Right.
And the truth is, the glaciers would still continue to melt. And that means they were looking at a third being lost by 2050. The problem is that the more realistic projection they made, if we don't make any drastic changes or have drastic measures, and the trends of the last 20 years when it comes to melting continue, almost half of the Alps ice volume will actually disappear by 2050. So the reality is far worse than this simulation. We could be looking at half of the ice of the Alps gone in just 26 years' time.
Both scenarios are not good, but the real one is worse.
Yes, and I think the scientists have been shouting at us for decades now, do something or else it's going to get really bad.
네, 2050년까지 그러니까 온난화가 멈춰도 알프스 빙하의 3분의 1이 녹아내린다. 근데 온난화가 멈추지 않으면은 2분의 1 정도가 녹아내린다라는 그런 지금 시나리오가 그려지고 있습니다. 아이고, 자, 첫 번째 표현 볼게요. We're talking about the volume of ice. Oh, does ice speak? Does it have a volume?
It's not that volume, so it's not a level 10 or a level 3 or whatever it may be. No, we're talking about the size of it, the amount of it.
Right.
I was terrible at this in maths class and science class. Whenever they talked about mass and volume, I could never work it out. But yes, so volume is, if you think of like a balloon, the way a balloon blows up, it increases in volume. May not necessarily increase in weight or mass, but the size of it increases.
그래요. 용량이나 부피라는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 여기서 말하는 the volume of ice라는 것은 빙하의 양이 어떠하다라는 뜻이 되겠고요. 그 다음에 이제 by at least a third라고 했습니다. A third는 3분의 1인데
Yes.
by at least a third?
Meaning that amount or more. If something is at least something, it's going to be, in this case, a third or more. It could be 2/3. It could be the whole thing.
네.
So we say by at least, it's, and then we have a figure, and it can be more than that. Or by at most,
Right.
then we have a figure, and it's going to be that figure or less than that.
네, at least는 최소한이라는 뜻이 있죠. by가 들어가서 이만큼 뭐뭐 할 거다라는 얘기인데 the Alps the ice on the Alps that is would melt by at least a third. 알프스의 빙하가 3분의 1 이상, 최소 3분의 1 이제 사라질 것이다. 녹아내릴 것이다라는 그런 예측이 나왔습니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼까요? A new international study shows that even if global warming were to stop completely, the volume of ice in the European Alps would fall by at least a third by 2050. All right, well, moving on to our final headline. Here it is.